Devices today are so good that honestly we can usually just plug and play and get going on them, right? But if you give me a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to take your Fire TV, stick, cube, smart TV, whatever, and get the most out of it by exploring those settings that you probably skipped. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, Craig here for Reviews.org. Thanks for joining me. Today I've got 10 tips to make your Fire TV device really shine. All right, let's dive right in, okay? So I'm gonna go to my home screen here. There we are. All right, there's our home screen. In fact, let's go to a different view so that you can see that settings button on the right. All right, so when you hit your home screen button, it'll take you here. You can go all the way across to the right to hit that settings icon, and that will take you to your settings screen. Or there's a shortcut. Let's do the shortcut. I hit the home button. Here I am. I'm scrolling through my content, whatever, and oh yeah, I want to get to the settings. Well, on my remote, I'm going to press and hold that home screen button for about 3 seconds or so, and it brings up this quick menu here. We'll come back to this in just a moment, but you can go right here to settings from there, from anywhere on your Fire TV device. And this is where we're going to be kind of living for most of this. Let's dive into number one. Tip number one is to turn off your video and audio autoplay, all right? Because yeah, it can get a little bit annoying. So what I'm going to do is go to my preferences here in settings, and then you'll scroll down to featured content. And you'll see I've already turned them off. You can turn them on if you'd like. I would say if you want to have anything if you want to have anything auto playing, it would be the video autoplay, and then turn off the audio autoplay. Hey, you know, your preferences are your preferences, but just know that this option is here for you, so you don't have to turn on your device and immediately start, getting ads and previews blasted at you the whole time, especially in that audio format. It can be annoying. Let's go back to our home screen. I want to highlight one thing for you here that I showed you in our top 10 free Fire TV apps video. If you haven't seen that, then make sure you hit the icon, go check that video out, like and subscribe, all those things. But these 6 apps right up top, these are featured and they can be changed, right? So when you take it out of the box, they're gonna have their own recommendations, obviously lots of Amazon related stuff. But if you wanna change that, you can go to your apps screen, and then right up top, you'll see all of those 6 right there. My other apps are down below. I can go to those at any time, but if I wanna have quick access, like I have up top, then I just grab one of these from down here, let's say Netflix for fun, and then move up to wherever you want it. If that's the one you use most often, then go ahead and put it right there in that first slot. It bumped Twitch down to this menu, but now when I go to my home screen, you'll see Netflix, YouTube, and the rest right up there, just like I set it up. Number 3, limit your interest-based ads. Okay, I'm gonna long hold that home button again. Let's pull up the settings menu. All right, and we're gonna go to preferences again, and privacy settings. Second one down, we click on privacy settings, and then here we're looking for interest-based ads. Now what this is the apps and Fire TV itself can gather data on what you watch, how long you watch it, etc., and serve up ads based on what it perceives as your interests. Now, here's the thing, I have this toggled off. I can turn it on at any time, right? But this really is up to your preference. Some people prefer the privacy aspect. You want to shut this off. Some people prefer to have ads that actually pertain to what they enjoy, because that can be a good way to find new content, right? Either way, totally up to you. You can toggle it on or off right here. Number 4, clear the cache from your apps. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my settings, and this time, instead of preferences, I'm gonna go to applications. Now this one is interesting. You have to go one by one through your apps. So on my app list, I'm gonna go down through here, and over on that right side, do you see where it says cache at the bottom? 0 bytes, right? So there isn't any cache on these applications. And well, that's because this is a brand new device. I just took it out of the box for these videos. But as I scroll down, I can double check if there's something with a cache that I want to clear. like the News app. I go ahead and click on that, clear the cache. What you're doing here is freeing up speed for your device, memory really for your device, so that it is faster. So if it starts to feel a little bit sluggish, especially loading apps, right, and loading content, then come here, look through that list of all of your apps, see if any of them have pretty absurdly large cache volume, and clear that from those apps. And that should help the speed on your device. The other thing we can do from this screen is force stop apps. All right, so if you've opened up an app and it's having trouble, like Netflix is kind of notorious for this. It can freeze up, send you back to the home screen, kind of crash, right? You can come here and force stop an app. When you do that, okay, you're gonna forestall it, great. Then when you go back to the home page and open up that app, then it's kind of like a hard reset where you can do that easily on devices, but for apps, it's a little bit different. And this is the way that you hard reset an app to make sure that it loads up right the next time. Let's talk frame rates. Number 6, we're gonna turn on the match original frame rate, if I got that right, in our settings. So again, long hold on our home button, pulls up this screen, and we'll go to settings, we'll go to display and sounds right down here, this one. And then if I go to display, you'll notice this, match original frame rate. I do recommend that you turn this one on. Again, personal preference if you don't like the way that it works, but as long as your video resolution is set to auto, then when you use match original frame rate, this will match the frame rate of the content, how it was filmed to how you're viewing it, right? So if something was filmed in 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second, then you'll be able to see it in that frame rate. Most of your shows and movies will be in that 24 frames per second cinematic style. YouTube videos like this or some other, soap opera content is going to be in 30 frames or even 60 frames a second, and this will kind of match the intent of how it was made. For number 7, let's look at that hard reset that we talked about with the apps, but this time for the device. You ever hear the old cliche about IT professionals and the number one tip that they have for you is turn it off and turn it back on again? That sounds simple, but it solves a shocking number of problems. So if you're running into freezing, crashes, slow loading across the board, etc., you might just want to restart your Fire TV device. So let's do that. All right, so for this, I'm going to go to settings again by long pressing my home button, go there, and then select my Fire TV. And pretty simple, we just come down here to restart your Fire TV, in this case, stick 4K select. All right, simple as that. Resets it, restarts it, you're back and probably ready to go, as long as the problem that you were running into wasn't catastrophic. Number 8, set a sleep timer. If you're like me, you like to fall asleep with the TV on, then you might not want that TV playing all night. Sucks up your data, and frankly, it makes it so that you're not sleeping as well because you've got light and sound going on constantly. But you can get around that very simply by using the microphone feature on your device. So let's go ahead and blow this up so you can see it. Of course, that blue button right up top, that's your, well, I don't want to say the name because if you have one of her in your room there, it's going to wake her up, right? We don't want that. So you just press and hold that blue button, turn off the TV after 30 minutes. Simple as that. It'll set a sleep timer for you. It'll shut the device off. Easy. Speaking of not sucking up all your data, let's go to number 9, adjust your data usage and limits. All right, so again, hold the home button, go to our go to our settings, and then down to preferences. There we go, and we're looking for data monitoring. Data usage monitoring. Sorry guys, okay, I messed it up. All right, so data usage monitoring, you can turn this on. And now on this screen, you can scroll down to set the video quality. If you don't care that much that it be the ultra, crispest thing in the world, then you can downgrade that to good, better, or best. You can set data alerts and monthly usage reports. And then this one I think is really valuable, especially again, for those of you who, like me, like to fall asleep in front of the TV. You can have this still watching button on so that your Fire TV will prompt you after 4 hours of not touching the remote. and ask if you're still watching, and then it'll shut itself off if you don't respond. All right, last one is another data management sort of thing. All right, so I'm going to go to my settings and then to my apps. All right, so settings, we'll come over here to applications, and then before, let's see, we went down to manage installed applications. This time we're gonna click on App Store. Now, you're not going to the App Store, this is the settings for your App Store. So from this screen, I'm gonna have a few options. Theoretically, if it ever pulls up. Luckily, this is not a commercial for this device. And then on this screen, you'll see a few options here. Okay, so this is for your apps, right? The Netflixes, the Tubies, the whatever it is that you're using on your device. Automatic updates, I would probably leave this one on. You might turn it off if you like to, be more in charge. If you're really on top of keeping your apps updated and knowing which ones you want to update, great. Most of us just want to set that to autopilot. In-app purchases, all right, so you can turn this on or off. My preference is usually off for this, but again, preferences are preferences. That's why we call it that. Managed subscriptions, simple sign-in. This one I love. If you've ever been kicking around on the home screen or you're watching content and Amazon sends you a notification on your screen, a little pop-up, oh, it's so annoying. I hate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn those notifications off. What'll happen with those off is then I can go back to my settings page and those notifications will show up right there. Yep, there. I've got 12 notifications that I probably don't care about, but they are there. You can check them out if you need them. So there you go, 10 tips for your Fire TV device. Those are my 10, but I want to know what yours are, so go ahead and hit the comments. Let me know of any other tips, tricks, things that you've used to make your Fire TV device really sing. On your way down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Much appreciated for coming by today. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.